Hi, thank you so much for joining me today. So today we are looking at the Divine Rose palette from Pat McGrath. So this is the most recent Mothership palette that came out. This was the one that was originally exclusive to Selfridges, and I tried to get it then, wasn't really able to. And then Pat McGrath released it on her site. It didn't last long, it sold out quickly, and it's out of stock again, so I haven't really hurried with this review at all. But I think it's going to come back in stock, so I'm not positive. I don't know if it's going to be a limited edition palette or not, but I do think it'll be back in stock sometime. The new Star Wars palettes are being released on the 13th and the 26th of December. So some pieces from the Star Wars collection are coming on the 13th. And I believe those are going to be the two new mini Mothership palettes and some of the lip balms possibly. And then on the 26th of December, the Mothership IV, the Decadence palette, is being re-released with Star Wars packaging. So I may be wrong on some of that, so don't quote me, but that's what I've read so far. All right, so the packaging for this Mothership palette is one of my favorites. I love roses. I think this one is very, very pretty. And then inside you've got the artwork, and then you've got the card with all of the labels. All right, so this is the traditional Mothership packaging. Got the gold on the back, and then there's a label on the back that basically just gives you information on the shadows, like there are 10 1.32 gram shades in here. All right, so you can see I haven't even taken the plastic off my mirror yet. And I have played with this a few times, so I'm gonna hold it this way so the mirror doesn't blind you guys. So just knowing that this is going to be the top left. Okay, so there are some repeats in here. So this one here is Skin Show Nude. This one is from the Subliminal palette. This one down here is, oh no, it's not that one. This one, Rose Dusk. This is in the Sublime Mothership palette. And Astral Solstice down here is in Midnight Sun. And there's been some discussion as to whether or not this one here, which is called Iridescent Pink 003, is or is not the same as Iridescent Pink 003 in the Sublime Skin Highlighter. So it wasn't an eyeshadow palette. So not sure if it's the same, but it may or may not be. So there are definitely some repeats. I do not have all of the Mothership palettes. There are some I didn't purchase. I wasn't really, I wasn't in love with the color stories for all of them. So I only have the ones that I really, really liked, such as the Subliminal and the Midnight Sun. So unfortunately, I've got repeats from those. So let's go ahead, we'll do some swatches, and then we'll experiment with some eye looks. All right, so the first one, here's Skin Show Nude. I'm gonna just swatch them on my arm here. Okay, so you can see that that's just a nice light champagne color. I really like this one. It's definitely a shade of eyeshadow I use all the time. So it's a great basic shade. And then we're going to go next to it to Valoria. And this is a matte dusky rose. And it appears darker when you swatch it or put it in your eyes than it does in the pan, at least in my opinion. So here's the pan, here's the swatch, and it's this one here. So to me, it just looks a bit darker. So I always have to be careful when applying that one because it's easy for me to apply too much of it. And then we're going to go right next to that to Sable Bronze, which you can see is like a milk chocolate mixed with bronze. So it does have some shimmer to that. I really like this color a lot as well. So this is one that I definitely use a lot. And then we're going to actually go, well, let's just keep going. We'll go left to right. So this is one of the special shades. This is Refined Gold 002. And I also use this one actually a lot in this palette because, you know, it's a nice warm gold, but it also shears out nicely and it's not so sparkly. So you don't have to worry as much about, you know, how to apply that. All right, so then let's move on to Iridescent Pink 003. Again, this is a special shade. Let's see, is that really... On my eyes, this definitely ends up looking very, very pink very easily. So this is not one that I use very much. I'm not sure how much of the pink is showing up on here, but it's a bright pink. So you can shear it out, but just when it catches the light, it definitely has a pink look to it. I'm not sure if it's really showing up well on the camera. All right, so let's move on. We'll do my other arm for the bottom row. So we're going to be going from left to right. So this is going to be Extreme Mahogany. I'll take this off. So here's Extreme Mahogany. So this is a matte shade. It's really deep. It's a great liner. I really like it in the outer V as well. And it's like a reddish brown. Mahogany is a good description for it. Next to that, we have Lovelace. And again, this is a repeat. No, this one's not a repeat. But this is one of my favorites, actually. So this one is a nice shimmery chocolate brown with a hint of rose to it. So I like this one a lot. I use this one a lot. And I love the texture of this one. It's very, very creamy. You know, the mattes are a little bit drier, but all of these like more shimmery shades, they're really creamy. I really like this one. Next one, Rose Dusk. This one's a repeat. And sorry. And again, this one is very creamy as well. All right, and you can see that it's, you know, a medium, more of a reddish rose. So you can definitely tell this is a warmer rose color. And for me, this is another one that I'll use like more in the outer V area. Next, we have one of the special shades. This is VR Rose Venus. And this one's a bit of a duochrome. So it's like pink and gold, like an orangish gold. I really like this one a lot. The shift on this is really nice. The texture's good. Oh, I shouldn't touch that. Okay. And this one does have some gold sparkle in there. And then the last one is here. This is Astral Solstice. This is from Midnight Sun. I'm just going to kind of move my arm a little bit so I don't get the swatch that I smeared. And you can see this one's going to be nice and glittery. This one you really want to tap on. It doesn't apply as well with a brush, you know, as some of her special shades are. So this one is better application with a finger. So I like this one as a topper a lot. All right. So those are the shades in the Mothership palette. So we have Skin Show Nude, Valoria, Sable Bronze, Refined Gold 002, and then this one's a little bit hard to see. This is the Iridescent Pink 003. Over here we have Extreme Mahogany, Lovelace, Rose Dusk, VR Rose Venus, and Astral Solstice. All right. All right, thanks. Okay, so we're going to do an eye look with the Divine Rose palette from Pat McGrath. And first, let me just tell you what I already have on my face. I have the By Terry Starlight Rose Glow Booster CC Serum mixed 50-50 with the Guerlain L'Essentiel foundation. So I have that down. I used the Sicily Stilo Lumiere under my eyes. And I used the Guerlain Meteorites on my face after putting on the new Chanel Tweed Blush, Tweed Pink, which is right here. Okay, so, and then on top I used the Duo de Camellias, just the gold side. So And that's what I have on right now. And then I have a little bit of the Pat McGrath Luxe Trans Lipstick in Realness, which is kind of like a nude rose color, a little bit of like a light rosewood. All right, so we're actually going to keep this look relatively neutral with some sparkle. Okay, so we're going to start off with the light shade Skin Show Nude. Okay, so this is the top left. And I'm going to lay this down with the Sonia G Soft Shader brush, which is part of the new Sky set. So I'm going to put this all over my lid and in my crease. Then to deepen up that crease a little bit, I'm going to go into the color next to it, which is Valoria. And I'm going to use the Sonia G Classic Crease Brush. And this shade is pretty, it looks darker on my skin than it does in the pan. So I'm just using a tiny bit. I'm tapping it on the tip of the brush. I'm going to tap that here first. And then I'm going to blend it. All right, so that looks good to me. All right, so now I'm going to go in. I'm going into the color below that, which is called Lovelace. And I'm going to go back in with the soft shader. I'm just going to wipe off anything that was there before. And I'm going to cover my lid with this. So I'm kind of patting it on. Okay. And next I'm going to go in with the Sonia G Mini Booster. This is like a really small crease brush. And I like to use it for the outer V. So I'm going to go into the color Sable Bronze, which is the top middle color. All right, so I'm adding it to the V, and then just any excess goes into the crease. All right, and then in the center of my lid, I'm going to go back in with the soft shader again. Again, I'm wiping off any excess, and I'm going to go into the color below that, the Rose Dusk, which is kind of like a medium rose color. I'm just going to go in the center here. So now I'm going to go into my inner corner, my inner third. I'm using the Sonia G Flat Definer. This is basically a flattened pencil brush. So if you use the flat side, it works really well just for small areas like the inner corner. And then you can also use the tip as a traditional pencil brush. Now I'm going to go into the refined gold color up here. So I'm using the flattened side. I'm going to add this to the inner corner here. Okay. So now I'm going to go in. I'm going to add a little bit of iridescence to the center. I'm going to use this color, which is VR Rose Venus, and this is like a duochrome. So I'm taking my middle finger and I'm just getting some on my finger here. I'm going to tap it up in the center here. Get a little more. So I just want to get a little bit of that color shift. And I also want to add just a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to go into Astral Solstice on the bottom. And I'm going to use my ring finger for this. And just tap a little bit on, right on top of the Rose Venus. All right, just for a little bit of sparkle. Now I want to clean up all of my edges a bit. So I'm taking the Synergy Jumbo Blender. I really like this brush a lot for just kind of cleaning things up. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to go back in to the outer V. I just want to deepen that a little bit. So I'm going to go into this bottom corner into, this is Extreme Mahogany. So I'm just going to add a tiny, tiny bit to the V. Right, there we go. I think that gives it a bit more dimension. All right. And then I'm going to line my eyes. I'm going to go back into the Sable Bronze, which is the middle brown color. And I'm using the flat definer, but I'm using the tip of it. I'm going to line both my upper and lower lash line. All right, so that's kind of like a light liner look. I'm going to make the upper lash line a little darker by adding some Extreme Mahogany on top. I'm going to clean this brush off, and I just want to make the inner corner a little bit brighter. So I'm going to go back in with the Skin Show Nude, and I'm going to do the inner quarter and bottom portion here of my lash line. So there's my look. I'll be right back. I'm going to just finish this off with some mascara, and I'll be right back. Thanks. This was my final eye look, and if you have any questions or comments on this, please leave them down below. Thanks. Hi, thanks for joining me for another eye look. So first, let me just start off with what's on my face. I think it's pretty much the same as what I had in the first eye look, although this time I have the By Terry Brightening CC Serum in White Rose on all over my face. And then I followed that with the Guerlain L'Essentiel foundation. And again, I used the Sisley Stila Lumiere under my eyes. And I have the Chanel Tweed blush on my cheeks, followed by the Guerlain Meteorites. And I used the Camellia, Duo de Camellia highlighter from Chanel, just the gold side. On my lips, I have the Pat McGrath Realness Luxe Trans lipstick, and then I topped it actually with the Noir lip balm. So it tones the color down a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see much of the change here, but you know, it's really, let me show you the lipstick. Realness is really kind of like a lighter rosewood color, and it's got kind of like a muted brick red look to it to me. You know, very, very muted. So it's obviously not a red, but just like that shade that's in there. So when I top it with the Noir, it just kind of brings that down and makes it just a little bit cooler, which works well for me. So I like to top that personally. All right, so this we're going to do a super fast, super easy, pretty neutral eye look using the Divine Rose palette. So I'm actually going to start off by placing Skin Show Nudes, which is this top left corner. Skin Show Nude. I'm using the Worker 3 brush from Sonia G. I'm going to put this all over my lids. And personally, I just love just plain champagne, you know, eyeshadow with like a colored eyeliner. So like for me, you know, I could even just leave it like this. I like it just as it is. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to add in Lovelace, which is the bottom. I'm using the same brush. I'm going to put this all over the outer half of my eyelid. And I'm bringing the excess into the crease. And again, I think that, if I could just leave it like this, I'd probably just add a little bit more of the Skin Show Nudes in the inner corner, and that would be a great easy eye look as well. I'm going to go a little bit more though, and I'm going to deepen up the outer V, and I'm going to go in with the Sonia G Mini Booster, and I'm going to use the Sable Bronze, which is this middle brown shade. So I'm going to do the outer V's with this. All right, so that's that for that. Now I'm going to go back in to the inner third. And I'm going to use this pencil 2 brush from Sonia G. And you can see it's really like got a wide tip. Put this down. So you can see it's, it's not a sharp pencil point. It'd be very blunt. Okay, and I'm going to go in back into the Skin Show Nudes and I'm using the tip of the brush, doing the inner corner, kind of building that up a little. All right, and I do want to add just a little bit more to this portion right here. So I'm actually going to just go back in with the Worker 3 that I used with the Lovelace, and I'm just going to tap a little bit on those edges and kind of blur that a little bit. And that way I'm just going to get a lighter application of that so I have more of a gradient. And I'm basically done, but I'm going to go in, I'm going to clean up the edges of my crease using the Jumbo Blender brush from Sonia G. I'm not adding any shadow. All right, so I could just stop here and let's go on actually and just add some eyeliner. I'm going to use the Extreme Mahogany, which is down here, and I'm going to use that on my upper lashes. Okay, and I'm just using the Sonia G flat definer. Again, this is like a flattened pencil brush, so it's really flat here, but it also kind of, has more of a tapered edge up here. It's very thin, so it's great for lining the eyes. All right, and I don't want that dark of a color on my lower lashes, but I still want to have a little bit of that, so I'm going to swipe my brush into the Extreme Mahogany, and then I'm going to go into the Sable Bronze and kind of mix the two of those together, tap off any excess, and do my lower lashes. All right, so that's it. I'm just going to add a little bit more of the Skin Show Nudes to the inner corner here. And you can leave it here, or if you want to add a little iridescent, I'm going to go in and just add a little bit to the center portion. I'm going to go into Astral Solstice, which is the bottom right, and I'm going to using my middle finger, and I'm just going to tap that onto the middle of my lid. So when you start tapping this on your lid, to kind of not get so much in the crease, you always want to kind of start closer at the lash line and move up, or, it's much easier to make a mess. And this is one of the special glitter shades. There is plenty of fallout. You can see I actually got some there on my face. And So you kind of want to be careful. It doesn't apply as well with a brush. So it works much better with your finger. All right, so I'll be right back. I'm going to add some mascara, and then I'll be back with this. So I'm back, and this is the final eye look. So it's a pretty neutral eye look, but then I used the glitter topper, the Astral Solstice. And so again, if you wanted to keep it more neutral, you could leave that off. But I think this is a great, everyday vamped up look. So I really like it. Overall, this palette, I really like this palette a lot. I would definitely repurchase it again. However, if you could only have one Pat McGrath palette, this would not be my choice. So I think it's a really great neutral collection. And, I really like the shades in here, but to me, when I think of Pat McGrath palettes, I always think of something like super special. And these just, they're not as unique as some of the others. So unfortunately, I don't have all of the Pat McGrath Mothership palettes. I do have Subliminal and Midnight Sun, which has repeats in here. The Skin Show Nudes is from Subliminal, and the Astral Solstice is from Midnight Sun. And I love both of those Mothership palettes. I think they're great collections of colors. And to me, those two are just a little bit more special just because they have something a little bit more unique. The Subliminal has that bright blue, and then I really like, the Midnight Sun has, just a variety of different colors, whereas all of these are really more all one color family for the most part. So I think it's a great palette, but if you could only have one, this wouldn't be my personal choice. So let's go through the colors that I do reach for the most. My absolute favorite color from here is Lovelace, and I think this is a unique color. I don't have anything quite like it. The texture is creamy. I love the texture of this. It works very well on my skin. It's just, overall, I love that one. Skin Show Nudes, I also really like. It's a basic champagne color. It's not going to be that, unique or special, though. You can find a champagne color like that through like any brand, basically. I also really like the Sable Bronze and the Valoria, but I feel like the Sable Bronze isn't particularly unique. It's like a brown with a little bit of bronze mixed in. It's something that even if you don't have a shade exactly like that, I think it's, something you could easily mix together on your own, just by tapping your brush into a couple different colors. Valoria, I really like. I think that, this is the one that it actually appears darker on me than it does in the pan. So I like this one, but any of these ones here, Valoria, Rose Dusk, Extreme Mahogany, they've got a bit of red in them, so I have to be careful how I use them. Because if my eyes, I have very sensitive eyes, so they get red very easily, and they also water very easily. So I never use like tight lining or anything on my eyes because they'll just like water nonstop. So anyway, since these all have a bit of red in them, I have to be careful how I apply them because they can emphasize any of the redness in my eyes. And I'm not a fan of that. So Extreme Mahogany, I prefer either in the outer V or as a liner. And, overall though, I like these. I probably use Rose Dusk more, in the outer V area as well. I don't like it along my lash line personally, except, as a liner, but like a thick line along my lash line, it's too pink for me. It's just not my personal preference. Valoria, I think, looks great as a crease color, so I really like that one. But it is a little dark for me to use, only on my crease. So there's that. Astral Solstice, I like a lot as a topper. I also like this Refined Gold 002. This one works really nicely as a topper as well, or inner corner or brow highlight. This VR Rose Venus, I think, is really unique. So this is a very special shade. I like this one. I love the duochrome effect on it. I didn't think it would work that well for me, but I actually surprisingly use it more than I anticipated. So I like this one a lot, and I think this is one of her more special shades for this palette. What's this one? Iridescent Pink 003. I don't like this color. So it's just, you know, I like the color shift technically, but when I actually put it anywhere near my eyes, even if I just use it as like a brow highlight, it's just too pink. It doesn't look good on me. It's just not something I'm a fan of. And I think in the monitor, it looks like it's appearing more white, but when I actually apply it near my eyes, all I really see is pink. So it's not a flattering pink on me. So it's not a color that I like. And so overall, that sums up my opinions on this palette. I think it is a very nice palette. I like it. I would definitely add it to my collection if I had to do it all over again. And I will definitely be wearing it, but I'll probably be using it more neutral like this. And some of those darker, rosier colors I won't use as much. And I feel like for people with a deeper skin tone or maybe not quite so much redness in their skin, those rosier colors will work better and you'll be able to use those more frequently than I will. But I just personally think it emphasizes the redness in my cheeks and the redness in my eyes when I have too much of a rosy look on my eyes. So that's basically it. Any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them down below. Please feel free to tell me what your favorite Pat McGrath palettes are. I would love to know. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you again in my next video very soon. Thanks so much. Have a great day.